Hi there, Simon Atkins here again, and I'm here today to talk to you about using your equity. So if you've got a home, you've got equity in it, then it's incredibly useful to be able to use that and to really increase your financial position. So super important. So whilst I can't give you financial advice, I can't tell you to do that or not. All I'm saying is that it worked incredibly well for me. Particularly when you consider that your house isn't an asset because it's just taking money out of your pocket. But as it grows and you have equity in it, you can use that to leapfrog into another property, of course, and that's how you want to grow your wealth if you're using property. So to be able to do that, just quickly on the board here, I have explained this in another video, but I'll just do it quickly. If you've got your home here, and let's say it's worth 500k, and you've got a debt, let's just, for argument's sake, say it's 200k, that's the debt on the house, that's your mortgage. That means you've got equity of 300k, okay? So what that means is you could pluck some of that out as a deposit, maybe 80,000 or whatever it might be, and some money to cover the cost of buying another property. Your investment property, or maybe your first investment property, and that means that the deposit comes from the house, from your home here. You don't have to put your own money into it. So that makes an enormous difference when you're not trying to save up after-tax money to get into another property. Once you're into this situation where you can use equity to go from one to another, then you're in a much, much better place, okay? So you might go, okay, well, I've got the deposit, but what about the rest of it? Well, you can get another bank to lend you the balance of funds for this property. So if you borrow 20% out of here for this property, you can get another bank to lend you 80% of this property, providing obviously that you pass their scrutiny and their financials, etc., to be able to borrow the money. So why is that important? Because it allows you, when you've got equity there, my mentor taught me that it's like stuffing money under your mattress and not using it. So if you've got equity and you're not utilizing it, then you're restricting the amount of growth that you can get through the property market, and you're restricting the amount of, i.e. tax deductions you can get from this property because you don't have it, the amount of income that you're getting, and the potential amount of growth. Because if this property goes up, this property will probably go up as well. Two properties going up, three properties going up is always going to be better than one. So that is how we're trying to generate our wealth. So, and as this increases in values, you can also use the equity from that to get into another one. So if we look at an equation that is return on investment, so the equation of return on investment is equal to money input. That's actually the return that you receive on your investment versus money input. So let's say for multiplied by 100. So just to get it express it as a percentage. So without falling asleep here, it's this is an important point. Return on investment. So if this house is 500,000 and it goes up 10%, that means that you've made 50k. Okay, if it goes up 10%, you've made 50 grand. So if we were going to put that in here to work out what we got in return, our return is 50 divided by the money input, which in this case, it's not 500,000, it's whatever money you input into the deal, because the banks probably put most of that money in, all right? So you're not including the bank money because that's money that you've been given to buy the house. What is, how you work this equation out is the money that you've put in yourself, okay? So let's just say, for example, you put in a deposit of 100 grand. So the money that you put on was 100k. The return was 50k, as I've just said. So if you divide 50k by 100k and multiply by 100, that means you've received a 50% return on your money, okay? So you can tell that, I didn't even have to do the maths for that one. So you receive 50%. The key here, though, is when you're not putting any money in yourself, when you're using equity to get into another property, this changes the game completely, because the money input, you can't calculate the return on investment because the money input is zero. because you're not putting any of your own money in. You're borrowing against equity, and the bank's giving you that to buy another property. So the money that you're putting in is zero. So in this case, money input, you have to make it $1 just to work out the return. So let's say, for example, now in your investment property, you bought that and it was $500,000. But you borrowed all the money to buy it, and it goes up 10%. Okay, and you make 50 grand in a year. Okay, different scenario now. You put some money into this one to buy it, no money into this one. So what's our input? We didn't put any money in because we borrowed the deposit from here, and we borrowed the remaining money via another bank, and they approved the loan, and so it's all borrowed funds to purchase this property. No money out of our own pocket. So in this instance, it means $500,000. There's none of your own money input. So we have to put $1 in as money input. So $1 in here. The return is still 50 grand. So you go 50,000 divided by 1 is 50,000 times 100 is 5,000%. I think that comes out at. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you do the calculation, 50 divided by 1 is going to be 50, obviously. Multiplied by 100 is 5,000. So it's going to come out as 5,000% return. So this is the difference between not using your own money and using your own money. The other side to it is, even if you had your own money, you would want to really, I suggest, or I can't tell you to do this, but what I've found is keeping my own money in my own account and borrowing the bank money is, if you then need money, you've got your money there. If you put all your money into this property, then if you need some of it back, you need to go and ask the bank for a loan against that money that you've put into it. Okay, so it's good to have reserves of money that you're holding back. So if I had $50,000 that I could put into that property, I'm better off not doing it. If I can, and I've got equity in a home, I'm better just borrowing the entire amount and keeping my own 50 grand in my account. So it's there for a rainy day in case I need it to put some extra money in there, or for whatever reason. You're just better off having cash reserves sitting there so that you can utilize if necessary. Now that money could be sitting in an offset account or something like that, but cash reserves are very important. So I hope you understand with this video. I might have blabbed on a little bit here. I hope it makes sense. But why it's so important, if you've got equity, to use it. And like I said before, my mentor taught me, and he was a very wealthy man, that leaving equity untouched like that is like leaving money just stuffed under your mattress. It's not doing anything for you. This property is going to go up regardless. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I hope if you're struggling to get to retirement, or you can see down the track that you're really not on track, and you're not going to get to where you want to go, and you need to be doing something differently, and you need to be running a process in the background, like I always talk about, that isn't taking too much of your time or any of your money, and you can run this and you can increase the situation as time goes on. Then I hope you can see how important having equity is. Now, if you don't have a property and you have to put in a deposit, well, we've all got to get that first property, don't we? So if you need to put in a deposit, you need to put in a deposit. But I'm just saying, if you have equity, then it makes a good idea, or it's at least worked well for me over time, to be able to leapfrog into another property and another property. And this is how you can get a large property portfolio. Okay, so if you want to understand a little bit more about that and how it could work for you, then just click on the link below the video here and see, just register your details, and we can have a 30-minute consult and work out the structure that you need to get to where you want to go, and the time frame that's left for you to be able to do that. And of course, time is a critical element as well. Okay, I hope to be able to talk to you soon.